Well, hello, friendos, and welcome into Cleaning Up right here on Fantasy Pros, the Discord-only show. And if you are hearing my voice, you know that can mean only one thing. Whoa! Joe's mic is not working. Oh, it's devastating. It's devastating news. You know the anger that is going to come from this. What is the reason? No one knows. No one knows. Really, truly, nobody knows. But you do have me, and we've got all of you. That's a cool thing about cleaning up on the Discord. We've got an incredibly cool Discord with, looking at all the different rooms, just in MLB, by the way. MLB channels. We've got leading off mailbag. We've got a Dynasty Keepers area, trade advice, the baseball podcast, home run calls, which we did find out, by the way, is a premium feature. So if you guys want to get in on the premium, then do it. Go and get and be a part of the premium. Just upgrade yourself. You can get in on the home run calls, win cool prizes. And then at the very bottom is that nice little cleaning up tab where we can come and chat with you guys, hang out, and this becomes a podcast, and you can live in podcast infamy. I think that's what you would say. You can be famous. You can be on the podcast with us. So anyone wants to talk? Well, bring it on up. Oh, look at this. Is this Joe Pisapia? Joe Pisapia just raised his hand. If Joe starts talking here, it would be glorious. I think I just accepted it, Joe. So, but you guys can raise your hand and you guys can come up and you can chat, and we would love to chat with you. But whatever questions you have, oh my God, there it is. It is, dude. Why is it every week I do this whole setup of you not being here and then you show up? It's amazing.
I don't understand. Every week we feel like we figure out why this isn't working, and then every week it's some other reason. And now I'm just doing this on my phone, so it probably sounds like crap, but whatever. Yeah, we're still doing it anyway. We're here on the show. Yeah. And by the way, I forgot to do this. There was results on the poll of who will be here on September 1st, Joe Pisapia or Paul Skeens. Did you see the results of that poll?
I did. I was actually going to bring it up because we didn't do it on the show, and I was like, oh yeah, we should do it on Cleaning Up.
Well, they were pretty good. Why don't you give the people the answer? Do you have it in front of you? Or
yeah. I can pull it up. So who is more likely to be here on September 1st? Paul Skeens or Joey P? 62% Paul Skeens.
That's fine. Joe. We'll see how it goes.
That's just how it goes. Here were some comments earlier, by the way, Joe. I wanted to present some to you. It was... Michael said, Joe, would you trade Edwin Diaz for a functioning mic?
I saw that. Like, I saw everything. I'm in there. It's all working. And yes, I would right now.
Nate, yes, I would. Reed Garrett stole Joe's mic.
I saw that too. Like, I see and I heard. Though it's the weird part is I'm in there and I can hear you. You just can't hear me. Every mic setting is correct. Everything is ticked off. When I go, and including me, I'm ticked off too. And then when I go to the stupid thing for it to hear me, right? Do I go to the test? I can hear myself in the test. I don't know why it's not.
It's kind of like a nightmare. You have like sleep paralysis of podcasting. Like you can see and hear everybody, but no one can hear you. You're like in a coma.
It's like that episode of South Park where Cartman thinks he's dead, and they're really just ignoring him. That's pretty much what it's like.
That's kind of
so. You just run the show. You're running point today. I'm just hanging out here with the people. So let's go. Let's talk some baseball here.
All right, let's see what people got. Again, raise your hand. Come on and hang with us. We would love that. Let's do this real quick because I saw this come up. I'm trying to figure out where all the comments are. I've seen a whole lot of like Elly stuff today. I guess I don't want to get too bogged down into the like big names, but someone in the chat on the show earlier had said like, would you trade Elly? And then I see that kind of coming up again. I've told everybody I love Elly because he's the agent of chaos. Like his ups, everybody is Conor McGregoring, and his downs, everybody panics, and there's really no in between. So like I know where I'm at with it. Joe, have you settled on like a spot for the Agent of Chaos?
I'm sorry, the Agent of Chaos being whom again?
Elly. Thank you for not listening.
Elly is one of these guys you're gonna have to take the good with the bad with. I mean, I think that's just what we know. Now the high points are gonna be so high. The trick with Elly is, can the low points be not too long? Like, can we get like a bad series instead of a bad 2 weeks? I think that's something you're willing to take the lumps with Elly de la Cruz. And we know because of the strikeout rate, that's the things that are built in here. We're a third of the way through the season, and the guy has been unbelievable. I mean, 30 steals, 9 homers, 23 ribbies. Hitting 262 we'll take. The 355 OBP we'll take all of it. But yeah, I mean, he does have 63 strikeouts in 48 games. And when you have that kind of strikeout rate, it's going to be like that. Now, in terms of where he is, in terms of the most strikeouts, he's not at the highest level. He is behind Benson, Schwarber. Ironically, Goldschmidt's ahead of him too. That's another guy I would not have thought would be ahead. Teoscar Hernandez is up there, and of course his half brother O'Neal Cruz. So all those guys are ahead of him right now. But at the same time, what Elly's giving you, especially in roto leagues, you're gonna take the 30 steals every single day. You'll be fine with it. It's the points league where Elly again was more of that concern because the strikeouts undo some of the productivity. So I'm still team Elly. Again, it's going to be waves high and low, but my goodness, can we all just take a breath too, considering the age? He's 22 years old. It's not like he can't figure this out and get better. And he strikes me as the kind of kid that has a work ethic that's going to improve over time some of the deficiencies in his game. Will it be perfect? Is he going to turn into Barry Bonds? No. But can he be a player that doesn't have the whiff rate quite as high as he's got? Yeah, I think he can do that over time. And that's something that should scare the hell out of the rest of the league.
Yeah, and I think consistency is the difference between him being like a third round guy and a first round. So like when you're like, can he limit, the really bad weeks that he can have into a week and not 4 weeks? Like that's a difference between him being at the tippy top. But yeah, it is what it is on there. Here's a points league offer. Bobby Witt, who Will has, and he would get Corey Seager and Mason Miller. Who would be the winner of this deal, Will says?
No, Bobby Witt. I mean, give me the elite position player every day. Corey Seager has way too many historical injuries to worry about. And Mason Miller is super fun. Like he's become, I feel like, the unofficial mascot of the show this year. Although it could be Spencer Torkelson by the end of the month. It's possible. I don't know.
I'm working on Brandon Pfaadt, but yeah, go ahead.
So is Carlos. But yeah, I think it's Bobby Witt for me. I get why. I get, why that deal's on the table. And you said it was redraft or it's keeper?
He didn't say. I think it's redraft, but I see. Here's the problem though. Bobby Witt in points formats kind of floats under the second round area. Corey Seager with the low strikeouts typically would be a first round guy. And then like closers it's kind of like format dependent. And, some points leagues are very beneficial to closers. Some are not. If you have dedicated, you must start a relief pitcher and not just pitching spots. Like those things are important. I could see in a redraft where this might be a positive because Mason Miller alone with the strikeouts is good in points. But if this is a keeper or, I wasn't constricted to RP. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's just like, it's Bobby Witt. It's Bobby Witt in general because Corey Seager's not showing a lot of underlying stuff.
To your point, too, about, the Bobby Witt strikeouts or things like that. Like, the strikeouts have been okay for him. Look, 18 walks, 36 strikeouts for Bobby Witt. He's leading the league in runs scored right now with 45.
Yeah.
7 homers, 31 RBI, and the 16 steals. I mean, depending on the scoring system, like, you're basically still coming out on top above the walk and strikeouts of Bobby Witt by a fair margin. Like, I mean, Mason Miller is super fun. I love Mason Miller, unless you're getting a ridiculous amount for saves and strikeouts on the pitcher side, and it's a points league. That's different. That's a conversation we can have, but give me Bobby Witt. I get this deal, especially from roster construction standpoint. Like, I understand. I don't think it's an insulting deal on either part, but I just want the Bobby Witt side.
Well, especially like if his team, you have mandatory RP spots and you just have a bunch of losers, and like you have nobody good, and it's like, hey, I would have a points advantage by adding Miller, and then how big of a drop off?
Reed Garrett. Like, he's the solution to everyone's problem. Isn't he? I mean,
clearly he is 100%. Michael asks, is David Fry worth a roster spot? And I say yes. And I say yes in a general sense of any guy that is on like a little bit of a tear. I love to have a roster spot that can churn and burn and pick up to speculate. Now, the reasons why it might be more sustainable: insanely high walk rate right now, only 21% K percentage, solid hard to hit numbers, an expected batting average in the 250s, and a decent barrel rate that is equated to his overall stats, which are 338, 5 homers, and 3 stolen bases. He's finding playing time right now. I think they can, easily move him around. It's worth a shot, but I'm not dropping anything of like massive expense because I don't know if it can continue, but he just might be their super util guy. That he might be their version of a Spencer Steer that they might want to, get in the lineup every single day. You have any feelings on David Fry?
Well, he's 28, so like I don't know if that enters into like where you think of players in terms of their evolution. I mean, riding the hot hand, I totally understand. And
what are you, Leonardo DiCaprio? Like he's 28, he's too old for you?
Sorry, I'm out. That was a good line, by the way. That's really good. I'm not out, but I think you just have to understand it's not that different than the Mike Talkman situation, right? I mean, riding the hot hands are riding the hot hands, and that's fine. But do we really believe that any of this is sustainable from him? Looking at the minor league career for him, he's a 268 hitter with a 348 OBP and an 817 OPS. Like that's a decent player. At the major league level, again, so far, so good. It's been a pretty good run. Just understand, this is not a 24-year-old kid coming up and showing you what he is. A 28-year-old guy, he's been around a little bit longer. So yeah. I think that's something to take into account a little bit more. That's all I'm saying. Does that make sense? I mean, and also, Milwaukee was an organization that certainly, could have used some more offense. So when an organization gives up on a player, it's sometimes a bit of a red flag. But right now, sure. I mean, in deeper leagues especially, I get it.
Reminder to everybody, if when you're doing these Discord shows, we invite people to come on. If you raise your hand, you will jump the line of questions as we roll down. So feel free to raise your hand. If you want to talk to Joe on his cell phone and me, this is going to be an interesting one.
Do you want to jump to conclusions? Can we get a jump to conclusions, Matt, also? That would be fantastic.
God, it's such a good movie. It's just so good. This is interesting because I just had this conversation yesterday. About one of these guys. And the question from the Big Dance is, who would you drop when Royce Lewis comes back? Now, the options you're giving aren't helping here, but here are the four. Michael Bush, Joe Adell, Cedric Mullins, Evan Carter. It's a 10-team keeper league. Now, the keeper aspect of it also kills some of the conversation because here's what I'm going to present to you, Joe. I think there's a possibility that person could have been Evan Carter because Evan Carter has been stank this year. Average sucks. Underlying numbers sucks. He last year had one extra base hit against lefties. That was a big thing we talked about. Minors and majors. Guess what? This year, zero, nada, zilch. He is hitting like $170 or $190 or whatever the hell it is against lefties. So he can't hit lefties. He's getting himself into a platoon. In redraft, I think you can drop Evan Carter in most formats. The problem with this is keeper, that kind of nudges it a little bit. And then also, like, Cedric Mullins is in here, and you could justify, I think, Cedric Mullins isn't a must-keep. So if this were a 10-team standard league, I could drop Carter or Mullins. I could really drop any of these guys. Keeper kind of changes it. So if you were needing to get Royce Lewis back up, is there one guy that jumps out to you, knowing this is keeper, that you would drop?
There is, and it's easy for me. It's Cedric Mullins, who's hitting $187 on the year, who is desperately hanging on to his job, who I think is going to end up somewhere else next year, and might be fighting for a job there as somebody that gets brought in to fight with somebody else. So Mullins had a great window of time, but I think we're still living in the past with Mullins. And I think it's unfortunate because he does have some ability. He is a fun player, but we're all chasing 2021 here. And I don't think we should be because it's been a while now. It's 2024. And I understand some injuries made their issues at certain times for Mullins, but this is Mullins and it's easy. And to the second point, do you know anybody who was fading Evan Carter harder than I was coming into the year, Welsh?
No, you absolutely hated him. Him and Reed Detmers, you put him on a skewer.
But do you remember what I said about Evan Carter too? That the two things about him that worried me. The first thing was the frame, right? I said, look, even if he starts off hot, I'm concerned that the physical frame, the toll of the Major League Baseball season is going to take quite a whipping to him. And then the other thing was what I saw was a guy that got hot for a short period of time. And especially whenever, you're good in the playoff run or things like that, that is such a niche moment in time where you really can't plan off of that and say, okay, that's who that player is. The problem is it happens at a time where so many eyeballs are on it, where everybody starts to exaggerate what this player could be. I just did not see watching tape of Evan Carter in the minor leagues, watching film of him at the major league level. I saw why, as a keeper, you still have hope for him, but I did not see it as a player that I wanted to invest in, especially when I watched Wyatt Langford, who is at the same ADP, jump off the page. Now, Langford has struggled as well, and now he's hurt. So, granted, nobody's been right necessarily on either one, but I will still put my money on Wyatt Langford. In fact, Walsh, I'll ask you this. Do you think Wyatt Langford right now is at the absolute perfect time to be buying everywhere? Because it feels like he's almost a forgotten entity. When's the last time we even discussed Wyatt Langford?
Yeah, because he's hurt, and he's still going to be out for a couple more weeks. Not in redraft, I'm not buying. Like if he were available, I'd pick him up.
Can I give you a Golden Girl scenario, like the old grandma, the old Italian grandma in Golden Girls? Okay. Picture this: Sicily. This is 1927. This is where, if we have artwork, this is where somebody draws a picture of me dressed as Sophia from Golden Girls, and you're B. Arthur and I'm Sophia. Like, we're those two characters.
We just found our art for the next leading off show. By the way, we just found our next Photoshop job.
But there you go. That's easy Photoshop right there. This is it right there. So the picture it. You're a team that bought into the hype of Wyatt Langford too much. You overdrafted him, which was happening quite a bit by the time we got to the last week or two of draft season, right? Because he was so good of spring, and rightfully so. You're probably hurting right now. Imagine that team sitting there. Not only do you not have him to hopefully turn things around, but he's still been hurt all this time. I think he is ripe for the picking and redraft leagues where somebody needs a lifeline, and they're ready to sell and sell hard on Langford. I'd be really kicking the tires on Langford deals right now in leagues.
Yeah, in Dynasty, I'm completely with you on that. The prospect fatigue. It's just redraft. Like, I don't know if I'm trying to trade for him in a redraft setting. If he were available and dropped, I would pick him up. But and something I was kind of saying yesterday is I might be willing to just, like, let's just assume that, like, a 10-team league, you had Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford got dropped. I would drop Evan Carter right now in a redraft to pick up Langford, who's not healthy yet. Like, I don't feel optimistic about
I would
Carter.
do that.
Yeah, I don't feel.
I would
by
do
the
that
way,
in a second.
also, the word niche, I don't like that word because I heard it for so long as niche, and then it's like no, it's niche. Like, I don't like that word.
Niche.
Are you a niche fan?
Sorry. I'm a huge niche guy.
Okay. SoCal Kid had he wants us to settle a debate. Side one received Trout, Real Muto, and Hoskins. Side two receives Snell, Evan Phillips, I'm going to guess Maikel Garcia because he just put Garcia, Vinny P, and Wilson Contreras. Who won this trade? So again, Trout, Realmuto, Hoskins. Two of those are hurt on side one. Side two, Snell, Phillips, Maikel, Vinny P, Contreras.
Man, there's a lot of... Which Contreras, William or Wilson?
Wilson. Sorry.
God, it's like, here, you take my hurt guys and I'll take your hurt guys.
Well, side one only has one active player on this list, so that makes it a little bit tough.
Gosh, I mean, my initial instinct says the Trout side, just because I'm hopeful that he comes back, and I was so impressed with how good he was. But I don't know. I mean, maybe you want the pitching. Maybe you want Phillips returning and Blake Snell. I mean, a lot of that has to do with roster construction, which I know is a cop-out, but geez. Welsh, where do you land on this one? I think I might need more time to marinate on it.
I think it's side two because... Like, you do have some injuries here, but like Contreras is hoping to come back early, so you got that boost. I'd rather have Contreras, I think, than Realmuto, or at least they're even. Evan Phillips, that's a top end closer. Vinny P, maybe on par-ish with Hoskins, and then you got Snell, Trout, like I don't know, I think in 2 months, side one looks better, but like right now, you probably boosted yourself a whole lot, so I don't know. This is kind of even. I guess I would lean on side two, but it's not like a ton. So
it's kind of even. I'm surprised a trade like that can even get pulled off because it's like here's a bunch of my crap that I'm unsettled about for a bunch of your crap. So you're just switching crap basically. But a lot of it does have to do with like if you're a team that's desperate for pitching, I kind of get moving Trout to pick up Snell. Like let's say everybody's healthy, right? Let's take that scenario. Okay. Maybe that's the way we should look at it. Everybody's healthy, playing up to their ability. What side of that trade do you like?
Probably side one because of Trout. Like Trout is like hands down again when healthy.
So I'm trying to think like that. That's how I think about it too.
Yeah, if you think of it like that. Michael said, Welsh, kind of a side question. I noticed your Bowman cards on leading off. You ever give public opinions on them or talk about cards? Yeah, I mean, I like collecting stuff. My Patreon actually am going to be doing I do like breaks sometimes. But yeah, I mean, I don't do anything for it. Though I have felt, Joe, we should get a hobby pros. We should make hobby pros here. Like we have betting pros and fantasy pros. We don't have
enough things to do. Is that why?
Yeah, I know. I don't want to be involved in it. Yeah. You know, one thing I actually love to do, and maybe you guys can pick up on the future, is so my backdrop, I like to move things around and see if you guys pick up on like the new things. Like I don't do dramatic ones. I probably need to do more dramatic ones, but I'll add something or I'll move something over. I'll make something more visible. So be on the lookout for the Easter eggs of the cards. But yeah, if you got questions, I'll help you out on there. Psycho out 24. Aaron says, oh no, this is like responding. Said maybe Gaussman or Webb. Who do you like rest of the season, by the way? Kevin Gaussman or Webb?
You know, if you ask me this in February would be zero hesitation Kevin Gossman, but I don't know, man. Gossman has not looked like Gossman this year. Webb was pretty good yesterday too. I know I was like still prisoner of the moment with these things, but I think I'm leaning towards Webb, which again, I can't believe I'm saying that, but just something feels wrong about like Gossman does not look like the same dominant pitcher so far this year that he was last year. Do you agree or disagree?
No, he doesn't at all. I talked with Eno and we were talking about Gossman. Oh, you know, I never brought this up here.
By the way, Gossman's xERA is over 5.
Yeah, no, it's horrific. And I had brought up looking at Webb. I did have a good start. I think that was one people were getting on my case about in the trade video. Like, I'm just trying to pick guys that you guys maybe get off of. But I was talking with Eno about, you know, my obsession with Shota Imanaga and being a 2-pitch pitcher. And I can't like get over that. I had asked him, is there any other pitcher that he's seen be really hyper successful that utilizes a fastball and a splitter? And he said Gossman, and I forgot about that. That Gossman is those are his 2 primary pitches. It just isn't working this year. But he actually viewed Gossman as a buy low. I guess I would probably just whichever one of these guys is like more cost efficient. I think Webb is less efficient,
well,
but I don't know.
The other thing too, I just want to throw this out there with Gossman when you're looking at him too, like trying to bring up the 2024 stats. Yeah, the K per 9 for Gossman is from 11.5 last year to 9 this year. That's a big drop. Like that's again going from dominant to very good, but still a lot of things there where Gossman's more questions than answers. And he was dealing with an injury in the spring. Like it wasn't like he didn't. Like I feel like he is not 100% and he's pitching through it, and that never ends well. I feel like.
No. A couple quick hitters here before we get out of here. Jason said, should I drop Braxton Garrett for Brandon Pfaadt in a head-to-head redraft 6x6 league? Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
By the way, somebody asked, I can't see their full name, but they said, did I miss the Pfaadt hammer drop by Welsh today? Yeah, you did. You absolutely did.
You did. Go back and watch on the YouTube. Don't miss it.
Would you drop Springer, Langford, Cowser, or Churio when Bobby Miller comes off the IL in redraft?
Give me those names. Springer, Cowser, Langford, or Churio. Churio is probably the first guy in redraft off the island, I think. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Springer's
I'm trying to hold Springer.
Too, if you want to hang on. Like, I mean, Springer's deserved it to get dropped too, but again, the name brand guy, I have more faith in him turning things around. I think Churio could easily get sent down again at any given moment. You know? Yeah,
that's probably true. By the way, your Mets are up right now. Your Mets are winning a game. Are you excited?
Please stop. No, because I want Quintana to give up earned runs. So
I want this game to go 2-0 towards the end, so Reed Garrett can come in. Okay, so here's a question, Joe. I know we got to go. We do have one person.
That's gonna be my worst mood tomorrow. If Quintana goes like 6 shutout innings and Reed Garrett gets a save, like that's my nightmare.
I know we got to go here in a second. Do you have time for? We have one person that wants to come up on stage. Do you have time for that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, here we go. I was like, I think Joe disappeared. So, all right, T. I can't see the full. I don't know why I see these like abbreviated names, but T requested to come up, so I have allowed you. So you need to come up. T going once. Ooh, are you a tea guy or coffee guy or any of them? I don't like any of them.
Definitely a coffee guy.
You're a coffee guy, Joe. Are you a coffee or tea guy?
Especially.
Hey, first off, love the show, guys.
Thanks,
Been keeping up for a while now. Awesome job, guys.
Thanks, brother. What do you got?
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, I got a real quick question. I'm in a head-to-head redraft league. I got 3 guys on the waiver that I'm interested. I watched the video on picking up Bar. He's been kind of going off before his ejection. Also got
he was
Gorman
on my waiver video.
And,
yeah, I love Bar. I was a big fan of his last 2 weeks to pick him up because you started to see him turn things around. Now he's red hot, and he's still available in 50% of leagues. Welsh, go ahead, go.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I got Gorman on the waiver, and someone just dropped Dansby as well. So I was wondering, one of those 3 guys, who should I pick up from the waiver? Got 1 spot left.
So it's Dansby, Gorman, and Bar?
Yeah.
I probably personally would go Bar. I think Dansby's the one from name value that gets picked up, but there's been some struggles. I'm not interested in Gorman. I'm massively interested in Bar. Actually, we did a So Rare video that I talked about him. I was talking about him on a guest spot yesterday as well. Hard hit metrics across the board look good. He's barreling the ball better, and that's always been his key. It's about hitting hard fly balls to the pull side, and he's starting to do that more, and he's getting in prominent parts of the lineup. So I'm pretty bullish on Bar. That's going to be my choice. What about you, Joe?
I agree. Sign off on the new bar. Let's go. I mean, he's doing everything he could possibly ask for. He's got pop. He's going to hit for decent batting average. He's getting everyday playing time. I'm all in on the new bar.
Okay, we're in with the new bar. Thanks, brother. Thanks for listening. Keep coming, hanging out. Love it. I can't see names of anybody's name. Everybody's an initial to me. Why is that, Joe? Tell me.
I don't know. I'm just happy to somehow be here in some capacity, and I am furious that once again Discord continues to hate me. I don't know why, but it does.
But guess what? It loves all of you, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing because we get to chat with you guys. So make sure you guys check it out. Go on to fantasypros.com/cleaning up to come straight into the show, or go to fantasypros.com/chat to check out the Discord, all the awesome, fun premium offerings that we've got. You can have access to us. You guys have also built an insanely cool community to yourselves, whether it's in the chat for leading off or here. Plenty of people are doing that with, talking about who should I do this, calls, blah, blah, blah. People are answering questions. It's pretty great. So go and check it out. When you do it, you guys are absolutely supporting. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Joe, had to run out here, but thank you to everybody for hanging out with us. And make sure you're checking out Leading Off Monday through Friday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Because sometimes we drop the hammer. Sometimes I drop the hammer. That's how we roll. All right, guys, that's it. For Joe, it's Welsh. We're out of here. Talk to you next time. Peace.